Hey everybody, this is Emirae Reacts. My name is Emirae. These are my thoughts to the Mandalorian Chapter 12 called The Siege. So let's continue, shall we? So Baby Yoda tries to crosswire a certain part of the ship, electrocutes itself, smoke comes out, and the banter between them is just so hilarious, with Mando explaining to Baby Yoda how he or she should get it done. Our two favorite characters are drinking soup. Mando has this unique way of drinking the soup because he just will not remove that helmet. Even though everybody wants him to do it. Well, a lot of people want him to do it. Realizing that the ship is not going to hold up, that they're not going to make it to Corvus in this shape, they decide to meet old friends on Nevarro to repair the ship. I'm such a big fan of the armor, and she's probably my favorite Mandalorian so far. Like even more than Mando and Bo-Katan and all the other Mandos that have shown up recently. But I was curious why she left all her things behind. There were certain creatures out there trying to eat some caged animal. Cara Dune steps in. It seems like she's the new marshal of that town, and she's kicking ass all over the place, and she brings back the belongings to the rightful owners. So I'm guessing Mando messaged Cara Dune and Greef Karga that he'll be showing up, or did they just like see his ship in the air and were like, oh yeah, that's our boy and that's our baby, let's go greet him. When Greef Karga and Mando shook hands, in my mind I was like, you son of a bitch, I'm in. It reminded me of Carl Weathers and Arnold Schwarzenegger's scene in Predator, and then they don't do it and I'm like, oh, say it, please say it. They are clearly happy to see Mando. They are happy to see the baby. You can see a little bit of connection between Greef Karga and the baby, with Cara Dune and the baby, and Cara Dune kinda low-key flirting with Mando. Am I the only one that saw that? Because she was checking him out twice. And I'm starting to think, maybe we should ship those two. If you remember the previous Nevarro, you could see that it was really abandoned. It was really a scum of a town, basically, for a lack of a better word, I should say. And I love the fact that Cara Dune got the well-deserved credit for bringing the town to the level it is right now, because it looks beautiful, it looks colorful, and it looks really inviting. Greef Karga is doing clerical work. He is clearly like the leader of the town. Cara Dune once again flirting with Mando by roasting him about his ship, and he tells her that he had a run-in with the New Republic. And Greef Karga says that they need to leave the Outer Rim alone. I mean, if the Empire couldn't settle it, what makes them think that they could? Mando comes inside. He can't believe that the place is still holding up. It is a school now. Greef Karga tells Mando that they'll have to leave Baby Yoda here, but him being such a father figure, he always says that wherever he goes, I go. Dude, you leave Baby Yoda for babysitters all the time. So what are you talking about? We get a C-3PO-like droid. I guess it is also a language droid, just like C-3PO was. And look at him, he's already going to school. Mando is still not ready to leave the baby behind. And you know what the baby's looking at. Yep, you guessed it, food. And Baby Yoda is showcasing some manners by asking the little kid for the Star Wars-esque candy. Gets a solid no. With Baby Yoda being Baby Yoda, you know he's gonna use the Force to get that candy bar. This is what you get, you little troublemaker, for eating those eggs. I'll just use the Force to get them. And I laughed my ass off when I saw the reaction on the kid's face. Ah, that was just tremendous. And then this little troublemaker pretends like nothing ever happened by just turning around and looking at the teacher. And look who's back. And the look on his face when he saw Mando, knowing that he put him in carbonite, and him releasing a gas from his neck, looking like he just crapped himself. Those few seconds were just priceless. And I mean, Jesus, this Mythrol has 250 years of depth. And it seems like he escaped numerous times before, and that carbonite is so hardcore that he still can't see out of his left eye. I love that they made fun of themselves regarding Mando always having time to spare because something always happens to his ship. They show him a map of Navarro with a old Imperial base, and on that base you had the same troopers that were under Moff Gideon's leadership. That same base is on like some lava mountain. You have heavy weaponry that the black market would love to get their hands on. And we get a nod to the movies with Greef Karga not only wanting these troopers off his planet, but also wanting to use this planet as a trade sector, and also obviously to free the city. And even Mando's body language is like, I don't know how many more of these side missions I can take. Then he looks at them and says, daughter and son of a bitch, I'm in. No, he doesn't, obviously. It's not a Predator movie. But please let it happen somewhere in the season. We gotta get that line in. So they tell Mando that the base is powered by a reactor and they are going to need to overload it and get the hell out of there. The speeder looks fantastic. The Mythrol gets basically low-key threatened regarding his sentencing, and he helps out with the flange cutter. Mando looks up, jetpacks to the top, throws a stormtrooper right on his face, and everybody's like, yeah, that's exactly what happens to a stormtrooper. You know, we don't care about them that much. We just kick their asses. And that's it. Hera and Greef told the Mythrol to come into the elevator at one point because he might get eaten by some Levitite or whatever the hell she called that creature. Is that something that we're gonna see in like future episodes? And as soon as they get inside, they try to take out the cooling lines, but right before they get in, and of course Mando has whooped some asses of some stormtroopers, they see a vehicle of whose or its name that I will not try to pronounce. Simerator, something like that. And immediately I'm like, oh yeah, that's exactly what they're gonna use to escape. We get the guardrail Obi-Wan Kenobi nod. That was really cool to see. You can see that Carl Weathers, who directed this episode, had a lot of fun with it, having us reminisce about the past. We had nods to like classic lines of the stormtroopers of like, there they are, blast them. And we get to the most important part of this episode, and that is the M count, the midichlorian count. Because clearly these bastards want to turn stormtroopers into force-sensitive beings, or at a young age while they're training students, just like they showcase in Rebels. Throughout blood transfusion, turn them into force-sensitive beings, so that we can have force-sensitive troopers fighting Jedis. So that's what they need Baby Yoda for. Maybe this is the way they're gonna clone the Emperor or create Snoke. And that scene of the troopers just coming down with those speeders, like that was so cool to see. And then you realize, oh yeah, these guys are stupid. They don't know how to drive. They don't have that much experience with the speeders. So that's why in that one scene, they crashed into each other. And that other stormtrooper, he just doesn't care. He just doesn't say anything. He just, oh, well, they're dead. Look forward, continue with the mission. Because basically, that's what they've been taught. And then Greef Karga and Cara Dune take out the trio of troopers in absolute magnificent Star Wars fashion. And here come the TIE fighters. And I love that they fly up like kind of like badass with like the background, in other words, the base just imploding. Greef tries to take them out, but no success whatsoever because TIE fighters are just so amazing, so fast, they can basically dodge anything. Well, at least a lot. And who comes to the rescue other than Mando and Baby Yoda with his hands in the air? Then you remember that they just did so many spins in the air. Yes, of course, he just ate and he's basically still eating that candy bar. Yes, he is going to puke, and yes, it was disgusting. What are you gonna do? That baby's awesome. Oh yeah, I almost forgot to mention, Greef did get one TIE fighter, which basically landed on the vehicle, taking out their big guns. And man, Greef Karga wasn't kidding when he said he's gonna get his best men working on this Racer Crest. Greef wants to buy him a drink, which makes so much sense. The mission has been a success, but Mando has some maintenance to do, and he doesn't want Moff Gideon on his back. But what we got to find out later on, one of the best men is a spy. He looked hella sketchy, by the way. Like when I was watching this, I was like, oh, he's sketchy. He's sketchy. He's definitely sus. He puts a tracker on the Racer Crest. Moff Gideon has a way to track Mando now. He tells one of his employees that they will be ready, and I was so happy to see that it was a female, because usually when you see the ship's crew, it's always guys. You don't see women a lot. I don't think I've ever seen like women in the ship's crew, and it was so cool to see that Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau and the whole team working on this were really aware about the fact that we can't only have guys in this, we gotta get the ladies in. So I really appreciated that. The X-Wings officers are back. They are doing their job. They even at one point asked Greef Karga about a crest, and Greef is like, what crest? I didn't see no crest, and sends them on their merry way. And then one of them stops and he talks to Cara Dune, and they have this genuine, beautiful heart-to-heart about Alderaan. And then I immediately thought about that planet just exploding and everybody dying on it and how insane that was. And I felt really bad for Cara Dune having to go through this, being one of the only survivors of Alderaan. I love the fact that she has made a new friend regarding that mongoose-esque pet or ferret-esque pet that she found in the armorer's workplace. And I love the fact that he left his badge on like this table-like thing, just in case Cara Dune decides to take him on his offer and join the New Republic. And then at the end, we see Moff Gideon looking over some like death troopers, and I was like, wait. Those kind of look like Death Troopers, but they also kind of look like robots. But they look more like Darth Vader, like they have this like Darth Vader design to them. And I'm like, did they just make like Darth droids? Like, what the hell? And I will say it again, I cannot wait to see the fight scene between Moff Gideon and Bo-Katan, or the fight scene between Moff Gideon and Ahsoka Tano, because I know that the next episode is called The Jedi. And I'm so excited for it. At least I think that that's what it is. Regarding looking it up and stuff. If you enjoyed this, like, smash the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and I will see you in the next breakdown of the next chapter coming up very, very soon.